Hi, my name is Robert Holley and this is my wife Lydia. I've been attending Grace Baptist Church for the majority of my life. I'm a teacher in our school and also on staff as the director of children's ministry here at our church. I'd like to tell you a little bit of what happened to me. In October of 2004, I had a problem with my eye and I decided to go to the eye doctor to see what was wrong with it. When I went there, the doctor told me there was nothing wrong with my eye and wondered if he could possibly take my blood pressure. When he took it, it was 180/120. He told me, if you don't go to the hospital in the emergency room, I'll probably read tomorrow that you died of a stroke. I went to the hospital after calling a friend of mine who was involved with surgery and stuff, and he told me if I didn't get to the hospital, there'd probably be a problem. When I went there, they took my blood pressure. It was even higher. They asked me, did I have any headaches or anything like that? I said I didn't have any problem at all. I was feeling fine, except I couldn't see out of my eye. They did some tests on me, and when they did, they found out that my kidneys had failed. They told me I would have to begin dialysis immediately. For the next 4.5 years, there were many medical problems that happened, including having to change dialysis, going from a hemodialysis, which I did at the center, to being able to do it at home to spend more time with my family. Even though I was on dialysis, I still continued in my Sunday school class and doing a bus route and such like that. In March of 2009, they called me and said that there was a possibility of me receiving a kidney. I said, well, I appreciate that, and what do I need to do? And they told me there wasn't anything I could do immediately, but more than likely within the next 24 hours that they would call me and they would tell me whether I received the kidney or not. I wasn't first on the list. I told my wife about it, and we began to pray and called several of our friends, including her parents even that were on furlough at the time, to pray about it.
What God impressed me most with was to trust Him with His timing. We prayed for so many years for Robert to be completely healed, and we know that's not always God's will, but praying that God's will would be done in the end, but if it was His will, if He could please just give Robert complete healing. And time passed, and I guess that's not the Lord's will, so tried to pray, I guess giving God more open room to work. I don't know, sometimes we think we know the way that God should handle it. But, obviously, God knows a lot more than we do about perfect timing and perfect ways to handle different situations. And my parents were actually on furlough from being missionaries in Haiti, and they were due to go back to the field in the end of February. And my mom had always said, since I taught at a Christian school, that if Robert had his transplant, then she would come and take care of him for several weeks while I could still work and then take care of the kids. And so I was praying. I just knew God was going to let it happen while they were on furlough. And in the middle of February rolled around and nothing. And the end of February, nothing. They went back to the field. And I was in a way crushed that God didn't answer the prayer I thought He should answer. And so then during the next 2 weeks, He taught me, I know what I'm doing. You just need to trust me. We had no idea the call was coming. But God showed me before the call came to trust in His time.
Many people prayed for me that night, and the next day I got up and I prayed about it and asked the church family again to pray about it. I got a phone call, and when I got the phone call, they told me that I did not receive the kidney. Very distraught, and many others with me. And so I went and did what I would normally do on a Saturday. I went and visited my bus route and talked to kids and invited them to church and such like that. I then went home and changed and came and helped build our building. After I did that, I went to work. I work at Papa John's. I knew I had to get off early because it was time change Sunday, and if I didn't get hooked up in time, I wouldn't be on time for church the next day. Right before hooking up to do my dialysis that evening, they called me back and said that the first person didn't want the kidney, so I could come. I quickly had to arrange for people to take care of my ministries and things on Sunday, and went and had someone take care of my children because I was going to be in the hospital for a while. I was in the hospital for over a week, and they released me, and I went home, and I had to do several blood tests to make sure all my medicines were regulated and such like that. I had to stay home, and I asked them, when can I go back to church, because I wasn't able to be around people because of my low immune system and do my bus route and such. So they told me I could finally go back to work and such. I went back, and there were many things that I had to do in my house to make sure that I would not get sick because of my low immune system. I could not be around people much. I was able to still, though, continue my ministries. God kept me strong. I only had to go in the hospital one other time. That was to remove the port that I had done for my dialysis that had gotten an infection. God used that in my life to show me how the difficult things in life can still be used for Him and for His honor. One Saturday I was visiting my bus route, and a new child had come, and I went by to invite them back to church. And when I got to there, a man was standing there, and I saw that he had a bandage on his arm, which I knew had to do with transplant and with kidney problems. And I asked him, I said, did you just get back from dialysis? I see you have your thing on to keep you from bleeding. He said, how'd you know? I said, I've been there. I know exactly what you're going through. Because of that, I was able to sit down and lead him to the Lord. And then his wife came in. I was also able to lead her to the Lord. They still continue coming to our church, even though he has gone on to be with the Lord. But I know he's in heaven. And God used a very difficult time in my life to be able to win him and his family to the Lord. We have to remember that no matter what happens to us, God is always going to use it for His honor and for His glory. And we need to remember that everything that happens to us that we think may be bad, God can use it later on in our lives.